Hello friends, Alessandra here, and we are checking on our worms. So technically, it's been about 3 weeks since we checked in on these guys, but also technically, I have been in here twice since then. One time was just to add some water, which worked out so great. I was so happy I did it. When I opened it up, there was a little bit of moisture in here. I was like, we're having such a deficit, and I still haven't seen anything come out. So I added another half gallon of water across the top about a week and a half ago, and we finally got enough moisture in the bin to drip through the bottom, which normally I would be like, we don't need that, but it's just so dry here. And then the second time was just a couple days ago. Some of the neighbor kids were telling me that they were learning about composting in school. So I was like, well, have I got something to show you? So we came over here and checked on the worms, and you can tell where we were right here. And I was showing them and giving them a little rundown of what the worms do and how this compost works. And they got to pet the Wormingtons and say hi, and it was really cool. But I noticed that despite having water drip out of the bottom like a week or so ago, over like this, so this is where the food was, but like I noticed in this area, for example, it's really dry. And I suspect it's probably because there hasn't been a lot of feedings in here, and also we haven't been rotating the feedings like we used to when we had this bin up in Florida. So yeah, I know there's some banana peels and there's a bunch of worms over there, but the weather has been warm. It's been in the 80s the last couple of days, which is kind of unusual, I think, for this time of the year. But we're going to be getting into the 60s and 50s here soon, so we know that they're going to probably not be eating as much. So I'm going to clear out this corner over here and just kind of, it is actually pretty damp over here. It's not super dry, but obviously moisture will spread over time. So what I'm going to do is prepare their feeding and put it right in here. Since we're wrapping up kind of berry season, it seems like we've got a ton of berries that, we've all been there. We bought it, we got it home, and we're like, oh my gosh, this isn't going to work. So I'm going to take this, wrap it up in a little bit of paper that I have off to the side, and then we'll plop it right back in. When I just have to show you, peaches out here in Colorado make Georgia peach. Well, let's just put it this way. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but they give Georgia peaches a run for their money. These are Palisade peaches, and when I was at the nursery, they had a whole bunch of extra ones that were hanging out, and this one was just a little too far gone. But I figured, we know they love the sugar, we know they love playing in the pits, so this is going to be a good feeding for them. Now, does this have to be wrapped up? I don't think so, because I know in this bin there's so few worms, let alone worms over here. But it does help disperse some of the cold, because this is straight out of the freezer, to help prevent any extra bugs or creatures or, whatever may or may not be on your fruit, even at the organic stuff. So that'll help disperse some water, prevent the flies, the bugs, the creatures, and slow down the worms getting to the food, which right now isn't really a problem. It's not really a concern, but it's a good habit to be in, and we're in no rush. And again, like I said, if it's going to be potentially in the 50s by the end of this week, which means the lows are going to be in the 30s, I got to get a thermometer or something besides the bin thermometer, which that's a good point. We forgot to check it. Wow, it's like pretty much right at 70 degrees. That's cool. Okay, so the bin's at a good temperature, but we know that if it's going to be warm right now and it's this level when it gets down to the 30s, it's not going to be good. So we'll get an outside thermometer or something to check it, and then just kind of keep an eye on it over the next few weeks. But I'm expecting it's going to take a while, given how few worms we have in here, to make it all the way over here. But for now, slow but steady is all we want. We don't want to be troubleshooting too many problems, and that's what I feel like we're at. So we were off to a bumpy start, but I think this worm bin is gonna do well. All right, friends. Well, I'm Alessandra. Thanks for hanging out with me today on our Wormington journey. As always, if you have any questions, leave them down below. We've got a great group of people here watching these videos. One of us can help you. Bye.